The card reader blinked red in the bright morning light, a tiny refusal that echoed louder than it should have. In a city cafe humming with espresso machines and weekday ambition, a woman in a tailored navy coat stood frozen, her coffee cooling on the counter as if it had already decided she didn't deserve it. People shifted behind her. Time pressed forward. And in that small, public pause, everything she had built felt suddenly fragile. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment, if you believe in kindness and second chances, to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Sometimes the smallest gestures change lives, and this channel exists to remind us of that. Her name was Aria Whitmore, though no one in that cafe knew it. They didn't know she was the CEO of a biotech company racing the clock on a treatment that could save thousands. They didn't know she had slept 4 hours a night for months, or that the card had been declined because she'd frozen her accounts after a security breach, choosing caution over convenience. All they saw was a woman dressed for success, standing alone in a moment of quiet embarrassment, the barista's eyes apologetic but firm. Behind her stood Jonah Hale, a single dad with tired shoulders and a toddler balanced on one hip, the child's curls catching sunlight like a promise. Jonah's day had already begun before dawn. He'd packed lunches, found the missing sock, calmed a small storm of tears, and carried hope in a paper bag labeled interview. He was late, his coffee a luxury he rarely allowed himself, but he watched Aria's face tighten and recognized the look. It was the look of someone used to holding the world together and suddenly dropping a thread. Jonah stepped forward and tapped his card without ceremony. The machine chimed green. He slid the coffee toward her, nodded once, and returned to his place in line as if nothing remarkable had happened. No speeches, no expectation, just movement. Aria turned, startled, gratitude rushing up like a tide she hadn't prepared for. He was already adjusting the strap of a worn backpack, whispering comfort to his child, living his life without pause. Daylight poured through the windows as Aria carried her coffee to a corner table she hadn't planned to sit at. She watched Jonah soothe his child with a soft hum, watched the way he checked his phone, and then the clock watched patience and worry coexist in his posture. Something loosened inside her. The world she led was full of strategy and leverage, but this moment asked nothing of her except attention. They left around the same time, sunlight bright and honest on the sidewalk. Jonah headed toward a bus stop, the interview address folded and unfolded too many times. Aria walked toward a waiting car that felt suddenly distant. She didn't call out. She didn't hand over a card. She carried the moment with her instead, the way one carries a song that keeps playing long after it ends. The day moved fast, meetings stacked, decisions sharpened. Yet Aria couldn't shake the image of the green chime, the unassuming kindness that had arrived without a resume. By afternoon, she asked her assistant to pull resumes from community job boards, to look beyond the polished networks and into the places where grit lived. By evening, one profile stood out, not because it glittered, but because it endured. Jonah Hale, operations experience, a gap in employment that spoke of caregiving. A note about reliability that felt like truth. Days later, in the same daylight that had framed the cafe, Jonah walked into a glass building with a borrowed tie and a heartbeat loud enough to hear. He didn't know the woman reviewing his application was the same one whose coffee he'd bought. He spoke plainly about responsibility, about showing up, about building systems that didn't break when life leaned hard. Aria listened with the kind of attention she reserved for breakthroughs. When the offer came, it wasn't charity. It was recognition, flexible hours, a role that valued steadiness, a chance that matched his effort. Jonah accepted with hands that trembled, thinking of school pickups and grocery lists and a future that could finally breathe. Near the end of this story, if it has touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Your engagement helps these moments of humanity reach someone who needs them. And before the ending, a special request. Comment the word kindness if you believe small acts can change big lives.